Whispers float in empty halls. Footsteps echo down the walls. Shadows break where secrets lie. Every echo holds a hidden sign. Blow the trace along the crime, a hush that haunts the night, a fear that lives in light. Unravel lines of twisted lies. In the dark, the story waits unseen.
And here we go.
Hey guys, I'm back. So I wanted to redo Amy's video. I made it last night when I was tired. I didn't do a deep dive. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it because I wasn't sure if anybody was going to listen, but actually I'm in contact with someone and so I want to help, and I'm going to send them this video so that it's easier for instructions and anybody else that is in the area. I originally went from the wrong spot before, which I had actually put them both on there. I had looked at the astrology and mapped out both of them. But I had been given wrong information about the skyline. So that's why I put that on private, because it's not correct. Now that I know that she was just on foot, it kind of doesn't make sense anyways. So she was seen at Diamond Park. They allegedly searched it, but I think she's been missed because I do have the circle back card in here. So what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to give you guys the cards that came out. As you know, cards are symbolic, but this is going to try to describe the area where she's at from what I can get from the cards. I'll give you anything else that I'm getting, and then I think I'm going to pause this, do an auto write, and see if I can remote view and see. Because it is a park, there's not a lot of landmarks. It's going to be more about her journey and all of that. See if we can come up with a spot by description, because I usually see it by description. I have a harder time on the map. Sometimes things are loud on the maps and sometimes they're not. So, you know, psychic work is never linear, but you know, I do the best that I can. So the astrology, I kind of already have an idea of what happened. And I was getting that ping already, but then the astrology validates it. So I'm just going to go over the cards, tell you what I think that they mean, and again, I'll probably do an auto write and see what else I can see. So we have manipulated departure, and that doesn't necessarily mean by a person. It could just be like, you know, she decided to, like, it was like an influence, right? Or like her being kind of emotional, or her just wanting to go in this area for whatever reason, just kind of taking off, right? So it doesn't always have to be by another person with this, with manipulated departure, because that could be in her own mind. You know, it's kind of symbolic. You take it as it makes no sense. So then we have mother. I don't know if she's a mother. That I don't know about her, but or she could just put off that energy of one. This could also be just a woman card, but so that I'm not sure about. But she's coming in. I'm getting chills on the side of my head. She's coming in. The cards is that mental instability. So she might not have been in her right frame of mind. She might have been a little stressed. I'm not getting the chart is not saying like a total psychotic break, but it's more like stress, needing to get away. I feel like she felt free when she would hike and be one with nature. Like that was her thing. So she does have a little bit of a spiritual hippie witchy kind of vibe to her. So you know, this is just like she was trying to get clear, you know what I mean? Like she wasn't completely thinking straight either, because 4:30 is kind of late to go into a park like this. And that's the other thing, is I think maybe it got a little bit darker faster than what she thought. But it feels like she went there for maybe a reason, clarity or whatever. So I have the abandoned card. She may have felt that way in some instance. Like, I don't know if there was a conversation or somebody in her life, or maybe she felt a little abandoned or not listened to. That's the way that I'm taking that card. She is still missing. There could be a silent witness. Now, this is somebody that's probably saw her at the park or saw her along the way, but there could be a silent witness that could just be talking about that person that saw her at the park as well. So exposure. So this is somebody that's left unprotected against elements, heat, cold, dehydration, or terrain. Whether circumstance or intention, their condition worsened without intervention. So left unattended, yet not intentional. Spirits witnessed every moment. So then we have disoriented, which is what I was feeling and what the chart is stating. It's more like, I feel like how I felt in other missing person cases, especially with the kids, and in my own experiences when I've like taken an area, or they have taken an area and they kind of get lost and they can't find their way out. It's kind of like that. This is confused, impaired, or unaware of their surroundings. They may not know where they are or how to return. So it kind of feels like that. Like I went to a familiar area because that's what it felt like. It was familiar to me. But I decided to take a different path or a different trail or a different way, and I got disoriented. And it's like I get that feeling again where like I'm in this spot, but I don't know how to get out of it. Everything looks the same. I can't. And then I kind of get overly stressed, or like over anxiety. That's kind of how it feels. And then I feel like there was an accident that occurred. So this is something like it's not deliberate. It's just something that is a result of poor judgment, risky conditions, and unforeseen circumstances. And I think also maybe, like I think it maybe it got dark too fast or whatever. And then the lost card, which goes along with the disorientation card, right? The individual has become separated or strayed from their intended path. They may physically be lost in an environment or mentally overwhelmed and unable to return to safety. So it's kind of both of those feelings. This is an escape. They don't know where they are. Search where the path broke. All right. So that's kind of what I was getting anyways. The chart seems to align with that. So I feel like she headed north on a trail. There's a deviation of kind of east, like maybe she went off a trail to like northeast or east. But we have north. We have multiple locations. So she may have, this could be the whole day, like if she went to multiple locations the whole day, but also just walking around. So like, it's not just one area. So like she could have been moving too, moving around to different locations. Creek beds, which that is in the area. So creek or creek beds. Still water speak creeks may conceal, cleanse, or carry trauma downstream, often overlooked. They hold quiet memory. Never left. So this is telling me like she never left the park. Now that area was searched, but I feel like she's been missed. And I'll tell you why here in a minute, but my never left card is always like they never left the immediate area where they were last seen. So the energy didn't depart. It remains there at the site of the disappearance. Okay, so crossroads. So there might be a crossroad. Like I said, a path that deviated. And so this also marks a pivotal moment, like a choice that was taken. Like I took this choice and it led to danger, or do I stay, the regular direction? But I feel like she may have deviated from the path. Maybe she saw something she wanted to look at. I don't know if she had like a thing with herbs and stuff, because I'm just wondering if like she saw something interesting off of a path, or she wanted to go in a different direction than she normally does. I do want to go like right, but there's like a crossroads. So it also symbolizes like thresholds. Rocky terrain, so there may be rocks. Zones including outcroppings, uneven hillsides that serve as concealment, and rocky type areas. Sorry, I have her picture pulled up here. We have farm field land, so this could just be like it doesn't necessarily mean farm field land, but it can be just like a field, right? Like any kind of field, meadow, something like that. Fork in the road again. So there must be a crossroads, fork in the road, also a decision made, but I feel like maybe again she came to like a fork in the path and she chose, I feel like, the right path instead of going straight. And this is like this path is splitting, sorry, and with it the energy, a key choice, divergence, or physical split in the road may hold clues to which way was taken. So I feel like I want to go this way, more east, veering off the path this way. Now property, now there are properties that back up to the area there. It's not necessarily that she's on a property, but she, unless she's at the very edge of one. So it could be that maybe she thought she was taking a shortcut or something out there. Like, it got dark and I feel like maybe she tried to take a shortcut because that's kind of coming in. So it could be she's on the edge of a property or close to like a property line, or this property card could be coming out because if you continue on this path and you veer to the right, like there's properties that go back into the woods, but there's still pathways and stuff through there. So maybe she was kind of looking for a way out. So this could just be like now when this stuff comes in, it can be reference points. It could be on her way or around where she is, like clues to where someone is, right? Puzzle pieces. So there could be a property not far. That could be why that's coming in. Remote. Now this can just feel remote. It's like a little remote area, but it's surrounded by residentials, but it could also be hard to reach, isolated areas, may delay discovery, or represent a purposeful concealment, often overlooked. They demand focused attention and deeper exploration. So it feels remote, but it's also, she has, in my opinion, I think, been overlooked or is in an area where she's not easily seen and they need to, like, it's more isolated and hard to reach. Okay. And they need to circle back. It's a circle back card. And this is what I was feeling anyways. Like, they needed to circle back. But this is basically a location or detail previously passed over, now asking for renewed attention. The energy of return may reveal what was hidden in plain sight. Don't fear the return. Circling back may bring a piece to complete the puzzle. So they need to circle back to searched areas or just that specific part. Water drainage supply. Now this goes along with the creek. There's a lot of water cards here. There is a creek that runs through there. So this could be, I don't know if there's any sort of drainage area by that creek, or this could just be, again, talking about water supply, creek, all of that. Storm drains, canals, things like that. That's what that is. It's 444. So interestingly enough, the bridge overpass card came in. There is a bridge in that area. There is also a bridge trail. So this could be that she's by the bridge or she passed the bridge, but that is an area that may need to be checked again. I think she might have passed it. It might have been on the way. The other thing is trapped, not necessarily trapped in the water. I don't know how deep that water is, but trapped in a hold or halted movement. So she's caught in debris, or is blocked energetically. Like, could be vines, could be, because there is water, right? And I get like a dampness in water, but I'm not getting like water specifically with her. I get a lot of like vines, foliage, things like that, that she could be trapped in and not being seen, which happens a lot when people go hiking and they go missing. They are trapped in, like, they can't be seen. And so that's what I feel like, is she's been overlooked, or they haven't searched exactly the right spot, and she's in a spot that is very well hidden, and she could be trapped by vines, foliage, something of that sort. Path trail. So I feel like she's off of a path or trail. They do run through there, but these worn routes through woods, parks, or rural zones often mark areas of passage, may indicate where a victim traveled, was led, or where remains or clues may lie beyond the obvious. So off of a path, off of a trail, that's what it feels like. I feel like, again, I'm disoriented. I can't find my way. I'm getting stressed out. It gets dark. There's a slipping and falling and maybe even a tumbling down type of like a hill area. It's interesting. Her name has hill in it. And I notice sometimes that there's symbolism in people's names and what happens. I know that sounds odd, but I've seen it happen many times. So she's off of a path or trail in the woods. Okay. In the woods. From dense forest to sparse tree lines, wooded areas often serve as concealment zones. Okay. And the parking lot might have been where she entered in at, or it might be where she was headed back to, or she might not be far from the parking lot. But the parking lot's coming in because she might have entered through that way, or there might be parking lot not too far from her. So exposed. So there might be an item or something that's left in the open. I don't know if she took a water bottle. I'm kind of getting that, but I'm also seeing like a piece of shirt, depending on what she was wearing. So there might be something that is kind of seen before she is, if that makes sense. And again, off the beaten path. So this is, everything was hidden in plain sight. It suggests a location far from routine paths, perhaps down an old trail, an abandoned road, or an area long forgotten. It may be isolated or untouched. So off the beaten path, that means a place that maybe wasn't really searched thoroughly, a place that, like I said, familiar, but then I drift off from familiarity. So I don't know where she was found, because she did this a couple weeks ago allegedly, and she was found okay. So I would go back to the area where she was originally at, and then kind of work from there. If they know where that is, if they can figure out where she was found last time, if they talk to searchers that found her last time, or however she was found, you find out where she was found last time, I would start looking there from that familiar area, and I would go off of different paths, because it's like I'm familiar in a familiar area, but I go off a beaten path. Okay, an area that's like off of the normal hiking trails, if that makes sense. I don't know why, but sometimes people do that when they, kind of get disoriented and lost. And again, back roads. So this is kind of speaking to like isolated areas, less traveled, back roads, an area where someone was like, where wooded zones, rural properties, or hidden clearings. So again, this is places that are like off the beaten path, places people normally don't go, not on the main hiking trail. That's not how it's coming across. These cards are talking about she took a different path, she veered off, she's in a different spot than is visible, right? Like she's not on like a main hiking trail. Like these are like off the beaten path trails that are off the beaten path of a trail. Do you know what I mean? National forest, that just comes in because it's a larger park. It's just validating the woods again. I'm taking the covered card as like she's covered by foliage. Okay, individual or item may be physically covered, hidden beneath anything, right? It's just shielding from discovery. She's being shielded from discovery because she's not being seen. And sometimes dogs do miss. So because when I heard the dogs went there, I was like, okay, well, let me look at other areas. So I went from the 2 o'clock chart. It led to a different area. But then I found out she walked from her house to there. So it's the only place that makes sense. And it is saying circle back. And I always felt like it was familiar, but she was being overlooked, like from the beginning. I just wasn't really sure where to go from in the beginning. So we have the park. So this is just talking about the area that she was at. Like it's a recreational place, nature preserves, city parks, all of that. This is just validating that she's in that same spot. Liminal zone. So threshold spaces, edges of woods, edges of fences, edges of properties, roads, things like that, where energy shifts or oversight. Okay, so edges. Tunnel. So there might be a tunnel close by. This can also be like it's also concealment, like hidden movement, dark places. Okay, but I did see a tunnel somewhere on the map, so it could just be validating one nearby. Tunnel, underpass, something like that. Could be also drainage for water, tunnel drainage for water. I don't know. It's a creek, so I don't know if they have that out there. You can't see it on a map, so just bringing that to your guys' attention that we could be looking at like by a drainage area that could have like those tunnels or those things that run like under roads or whatever. So rooted tree base areas. This is like by trees, like indicate like by a tree, by rooted bound ground at the base of the significant symbolic something. Symbolic of something planted or left behind. So she could have been she's by trees, by the root of a tree, by the base of a tree, by the base of trees, foliage hidden. I keep getting like vines and things like that. And I was getting flowers earlier. I don't know if this area really has flowers, but I'm just wondering if there's like those vines with like flowers in them. I don't know. Desert, this should just be sandy area whenever I get this. But it's also energy of isolated or difficult to locate remains. So she's in a difficult to locate area. It's not like I'm just going to walk across or she's off a path. It's like I'm down possibly an embankment of some sort and I'm hidden by foliage, off of the beaten path, off of the beaten trail, off of an area that isn't normally gone to. Sorry. And the river. I mean, there's no river there, but it just validates the water. So she's not far from water. She's in a wet place. You know, I feel like she actually followed the water up. That's the way that it kind of comes across. So that's the cards. I'm gonna pause this and do an auto write, and then I'm probably gonna get basically the same thing, but I just want to see if I can see anything else. I'm probably just gonna get like her travels, her state of minds, things like that. And now that Ezekiel has now come over and take over the video. Okay, so it's just a little more descriptive, not super descriptive, but I'm just gonna go ahead and read it for you guys. Keep in mind that auto writes, I try to stay on the same energetic wavelength, but keep in mind other things and names can come in. I didn't really get any names or anything, so that doesn't really matter here. It seems like I basically stayed straight on this, so it feels like Amy was overwhelmed. It feels like she felt a pull to this location. I don't know. I feel like she was in kind of a fog, so to speak, with feeling nature was calling her or nature spirits were calling. And it feels like she felt like she's being pulled back to this location like before. She wasn't worried about anything else. Kind of like, I know where I'm going, what I need to do, what I want to do, and I'll just see and do this thing really quick. I'm also mentally overwhelmed. I don't know if she felt misunderstood, not heard. I also don't know if she had started a different medication or a different something of that sort, because that kind of comes in a bit. But it's also, I'm almost like running away feeling, but plan to return. But she wanted to be focused on what she was doing. So I don't know. It feels like she felt like nature was calling her. I don't know if that makes sense. I think she also didn't realize how fast it would get dark or the time would shift. But by the time she got there, she wasn't really thinking logical at this time. But she was in shape. She wasn't worried about it. She needed to go there. It wasn't just a want, like a pulling, like a calling. That's the manipulated departure card. I can hear her feet on the ground crunching. I can see her. I don't know if she crossed the creek or crossed an area. She started on one side and went to the other, but I feel like I'm crossing and I have an idea of where I want to go. I feel familiar with it. I feel like it's the place I've been before. I really think it's super close to where she was found before. She knew landmarks, she knew the area, and she wanted to return. She had an experience there that she wanted to have again. I feel like I'm walking up. So it's like the feeling of walking up elevation, going north, sort of a change, like of up, not down, but you're walking up or at a higher ground. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean like it's way up, but you know what I mean? Like a change in elevation. You know how you feel when you're hiking and the road goes up or the hiking trail goes up. It's like that. I'm looking for a place I was before, but yet there's a veering off, a different route, a path less traveled, less taken. So it feels like I veer off the main trail into, again, sort of off a beaten path, off a main trail, not a place people normally walk. Whether I feel pulled there or wanted to see what it was like, but I also feel like I get lost, disoriented. I can't tell exactly where I am. Like when everything looks the same and you're trying to find your way back, but you feel disoriented, turned around. You're circling and you're looping, trying to find the main trail, but nothing looks like it did. That's how it feels. I'm off trail. So I'm off the main trail or off a trail. I want to say she's possibly a mile from the entrance. I would look strongly around a mile, but I wouldn't go past maybe 2.5. 3, the chart pulls in pretty close. It feels pretty close, but you want to go out just to make sure. But because 2.5 was coming in pretty strong yesterday, so, but I always get a range as well. But it's hard to tell how on the map how far everything is, but it feels like maybe right before properties or the boundaries of properties, the liminal zones before properties. Because that property card came there and also the liminal zone. So it's like some sort of backing up to this area. But I feel like I slipped, get hooked, fell, lost footing, and I get like a rolling from a higher to rolling to falling lower, higher to lower. I keep getting vines, foliage, and only a piece of shirt that can barely be seen. So I don't know if she took water bottle with her or water, if there's something that she had with her, but I can see something of hers will be seen first by a tree. But I feel like I don't know if there are trees higher and then some lower on a drop off hill type area. There's head pain or reference to the head, but also I don't know how cold it got at night, hypothermia, something like that. So I would focus on the trail, especially slopes where someone could slip and fall and end up below line of sight. Those places are easy to miss even with large searches. But if it's a familiar feeling, a new path, and I can't get back feeling, up high looking down, or trying to reach something, lose footing and end up below. Edges above the creek, ravine drop off where paths diverge or split, areas you can step off without realizing, sloped ground where the footing can give out. And it may be where the properties start to back up. Maybe she thought she could get through that way if she kept going, like she could exit a different way. Then she entered and she would keep going through property. So like go in and come out the other side or another way. That's how it feels because she couldn't find her way back. So instead of going back, she went forward. Looping, circling feeling. There's someone or where someone could go slightly wrong in a familiar place and not be seen. Familiar area, slight deviation off the beaten path. Disorientation, moving off trail, slope, drop near water. Overlooked, below grade, off trail, tucked in terrain, in an area that people don't normally step into. There is a drift, confusion, and then terrain. She intended to start moving in one direction, then became disoriented or lost and ended up somewhere else. It's what felt right to her at the time. So check hidden dips, creek edges, obscured places. We got water a lot, so it could be water drainage nearby. Maybe where vines grow. There may have been a twisting of an ankle as well. So she didn't go far, but maybe further than intended. Familiar area, slight deviation, disorientation, terrain complication, and a hard to self-correct. Like I know this area, slight deviation and misjudgment. She overestimated the familiarity with terrain. So not far, just off. So she was near something familiar but deviated and she couldn't find her way back. Then lost footing. And I do get a twisting of the ankle, so that might be how she lost her footing. So I would circle back, check deeper, check off normal trails people that don't normally take, where it can be easily to get lost. And there's a sorry feeling like I thought I could handle it. I thought I could handle anything, and then a fog of thinking those thoughts. So I'll just show you a little bit where the lines go. And everything looks different on a stupid map. I absolutely hate it. It's so annoying. And it's hard to tell how far things are, too, on the map. So, see, I had all this. I went from there because I caught but Diamond Park. This is her original chart, so we'll just ignore that right now because she was last seen here. So, you know, everything is above the horizon. So like things known about where she went and stuff. And see, this is the Uranus line. So I don't know if it's saying she crossed from here to there, because I always feel like I want to be on this side, which this side is where the properties are, but it's almost like I feel like if I just keep going, I can go out another way. Like maybe she was trying to get one of these streets over here or one of these areas over here, and she kind of got turned around or something. Because this seems up here seems too far, but this one is interesting because this is where like the properties back up. No, that's not where the property. This is where the properties back up. This is where the Neptune line goes. So I'm not saying it's necessarily where the Neptune line goes, but you can go 5 degrees on either side. So this Palo Seco Creek, like I don't know how far that is, so it's hard for me to say because everything is further, so these go further. But this area right here, oh, swings. Oh my gosh. Okay, I was seeing the swings. earlier. And then I forgot, like I was seeing, they were showing me like a wooden swing, not necessarily. So the swings are important. Okay, so this makes sense. How far is this though? I don't know how far this is. This would be an area I would check. And there's still a creek there. So I was getting the swings and I didn't even know this was here. So this is validating for me. And redwoods could be the national forest. So it's almost like maybe she thought she could go out this way and that's what happened instead of going back. You know what I mean? Going forward instead of back. So I don't know exactly how far this is. And again, the property's back up to here. This is where I was looking at before because there is properties. So this would be like a yeah, this is where I would look. Just because our Neptune line goes there, even if it's a little bit further, because this is air miles, right? It's still pointing in this direction and could go five degrees this way. But I didn't know about these swings, and then we got the national forest. So this could be considered the Monterey redwoods could be considered a national forest in the cards because it's a bunch of trees. All right. So yeah, and then here's the properties so it's very possible this is what we're looking for, like creek area. Maybe she crossed. I don't know what these buildings are right here. Let me see. Sometimes it's easier to see this because you can't see everything on this map. Is this a parking lot? Oh, interesting. It's a parking lot. Okay, we got the parking lot. So it makes me wonder if she didn't go. So this is a parking lot. So that's another thing that we got. Okay. It's another thing that we got. All right. Yeah. See how these properties back up here? And then the swings are right here. Okay. This would be an area of interest right here. The swings, the Monterey redwoods, because I got the swings without realizing it. And then the redwoods would be like, so yeah. I would search this area. I don't know how far this, depending on what. Oh, and I got church, and then I put it back, so the church is right there. So that's another spot. So all these things, and it's backing up to here. So this would be, I don't know how far it is. Maybe she came in at the bridge. If she came in at the bridge, that would kind of make sense because we got the bridge card. So maybe she came in at the bridge, and then she headed up this way. And what is this? Is this? Okay, the plant nature or native plants. So I was seeing flowers earlier that could be symbolic for that. But literally we have a parking lot, a church up here, okay, and then a veering east. So the swing is there. I forgot I got that. And interestingly enough, we have a line that goes through there. And actually her whole 8th house kind of goes in this area. Yep, the swings. I was seeing the swings, so that's a good validating area. And then, yep, this is where I would look, and plus it backs up to the property. So I would circle back to this area. I mean, all of it, but specifically this area right here. Because the church, the parking lot's over here, and then all this is here. So that's because of the swings. I totally forgot. I forgot the swings. Because I got it randomly when I was looking at another area, and I was like, huh, swings, that's weird. I'll just hang on to that. I saw them as wooden. I don't know if that's how they are out there. So it just can be symbolic. All right. So I think that's good. I'm going to send this where I need to send it, and hopefully it's helpful. I just want to help find her because I really, she's a sister of ours. So let's all put out. Oh, I don't think my bird did that either. Let's all could have done it with that one, but not before. So, she's a very spiritual person. And yep, just want to try to help find her. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Take it easy.